Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you, and welcome to episode 8 of the Get Rich and Live Free series, where we're teaching you how to get rich. And getting rich is all about mindset, more than anything. It's mindset that starts the action, and then the action builds the mindset. But you've really got to start thinking in a different way. And in today's episode, we're going to build on all the others, because you should have now found the thing that you're good at, the thing that in the world that the rest of the world is sort of moaning about. You've gone through the forums, and you've found an idea for a business. But if you're like most people, you will then be there thinking, I haven't got the time for this. I already work. I've got 4 kids. I've got a mum who needs me. You know, it's that kind of entrepreneurial drag that we all fear at the beginning, that we're going to be basically working ourselves to the bone to get this going. Now, the key thing is, and what you got to think about right from the very beginning, if you have a business where you are the only one who can do the work, then you don't have a business. You have a job, basically, with a very demanding boss. I've effectively got that with Join Up Dots. It's my voice. I have to do the podcast episodes. Could I step away from it? Yes. Would it still be Join Up Dots? No. But, you know, it's something that I enjoy doing. But a lot of people start a business just for the money, just for the freedom path that they think it's going to set them, and actually it goes the wrong way. And most people escape the 9 to 5 because they want freedom. But then, as you would have heard many, many times through Join Up Dots, they then build a cage made of their own hours. And when they're working for themselves, they're crazy hours. And they say, you know, I'll charge £100 an hour for consulting. And they think that's success because it's more than they made at their old job. But if you stop working for an hour, the money stops. And if you get flu, then the business just has a heart attack, really. If you want to take your kids to the park on a Tuesday afternoon, you're literally losing money every minute that you're pushing your kids on the swings. And that isn't wealth. That isn't the live free bit that's we're talking about. That's just a different kind of slavery. So what we got to do, we got to learn how to stop selling time and start selling results. This is the big thing, and we've touched on this in this series. And more importantly, we're going to look at how you remove yourself from the equation from day one. Okay, so people say this, only I can do it. Oh, I can't hand it out to anyone. It's the thing that I do. And I hear this all the time. David, you don't understand. I'm an expert. People come to me for my brain, my touch, my magic. But if I'm going to give you a reality check, and it might hurt your ego, nobody cares about you. They really don't. I used to think that people did, but they don't. They care about their problem being solved. They care about getting results for the money. If they have a hole in their roof, do they care if the world's greatest roofer fixes it, or if he has a team of trained professionals who fix it while he's sitting on a beach? They just want water to stop hitting the carpet. If you go to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, I'd be buggered if I ever going to see Gordon Ramsay there. What he does, he trains people up so that you get the same kind of style of food that you might have. When you position yourself as the key element in your business, you're creating a bottleneck. You are the kink in the hose. If you want to get rich, and we're talking about money, but we're also talking about rich with freedom, rich with opportunities, rich with life, really, you have to think like a system designer and not a craftsman. Now, what's the difference? Well, a craftsman makes one beautiful chair at a time with their own hands. And a system designer builds a factory that makes 10,000 beautiful chairs while he sleeps. We're building factories here, people. We're building engines that don't need us to be the fuel. And when you're starting a business, you've got to think about it all the time. How do I separate myself from this? How do I paint myself closest to the corner? So we need to start selling results, but we need to start selling results without using our own time. We need to change what we're selling. So in consultancy, you've got to stop selling 60 minutes of my time. And you've got to start selling a completed, fully functional lead generation system, okay? Think about it this way. If you're a personal trainer, don't sell 1 hour in the gym. Sell 10 pounds of fat loss in 30 days. The client doesn't actually want to spend an hour with you, even if you're the most attractive person in the world. They just want the fat gone, and that's why they're doing it. So if you could invent a pill that did that in 1 second, would they pay more for the pill or the hour of your time? Well, they're going to pay 10 times more for the pill, aren't they? Because time is the one thing we can't get back. And they're losing time being with you. So they want instant results. They want things quickly. When you sell results, you're actually selling people their time back. People are lazy. People want things easily, yeah? Now, you really have to outsource. Right from day one. And I used to be reluctant on this. And through Join Up Dots, I've had many different people working for me over the years. And now I've got such a fine system, basically. There's me and one other guy, James, who does all the emails and stuff and passes ones over to me so that I can respond in that. But I used to think, I don't have the money to hire anyone. If I wasn't earning money, why do I want to spend my own money growing a business? Now, this is where you've got to change. You've got to find the result that needs delivering. That's the key thing. That's the Join Up Dots logic. That's the joining up the dots. You've got to map out the process, the step-by-step recipe to get that result, and then you find someone who can follow that recipe for a fraction of the price you're charging for that result. So if you charge a client £1,000 for a result, whatever it is, and it costs you, say, £300 to pay a specialist on Upwork or something, or an assistant to follow your recipe to deliver it perfectly, you've just made £700 of time-free income. You came up with the idea. You decided on what the result was going to be. You provided the utility, but you didn't provide the labour. And that is the moment you become a business owner. Most people get trapped into doing everything themselves. But when you look at it that way, and you find somebody that you can trust, and they're happy with the salary that you're paying, and you train them up to an inch of their life, and you keep on building your training resources, your paperwork, your videos, so if somebody else comes along, you don't have to go through it all again. You can just hand the training pack out to them and they can get up to speed, and then you could be a fake customer to see if they're actually doing it correctly before you free them into your own business. You can be your own quality control. Then you've escaped the hourly mindset. It's a big, big step. I don't do much at all, really. I've got quite a few businesses and most of them operate without me being there. I just swoop down every now and again to make sure that things are happening. But to get to that point, you've really got to break the conditioning that we've had since school, that work is time spent in a chair. You were told to sit in a class from 9 to 3. You were told to be at your desk from 9 to 5. That's just old thinking. That's old thinking of the industrial age. The rich thinking filter, which we talked about in episode 4, tells us to look for the highest return on income. looking at how we can maximize income on everything we do, on everything that we buy. So if your time is best spent doing the work, then that's fine. But is it best spent building the system that does the work, or the system that allows somebody else to do the work so that you can do the bare minimum? You've won. If you spend your day doing, you have no time for the building. So you really have to look at every task in your life right now and ask, if I was hit by a bus tomorrow, would this still get done? And if the answer is no, then you have a liability, not an asset. You are the bottleneck. You're the key element. And that's the most dangerous position in the world to be in. So the shift you've got to go through, guys, this is the multiplication effect, okay? Look at whatever business idea that you come up with. Look at your non-sexy business that we were talking about, your utility dot, and write down the recipe, the exact steps someone else would have to take to deliver that result without you being in the room. Okay? Every single step. And don't just do 5 or 10 steps. There's going to be loads of steps if you're doing this right. But break down every single thing you can do. And then find one small part of that recipe and plan about outsourcing it. Whether it's a piece of software or a virtual assistant, prove to yourself that a result can be delivered without your fingerprints on it. Now, you will be spending a bit, but you're going to be testing the business because you're the architect. Architects test. So don't be the hero of your business. Don't drive yourself into the ground. Be the architect, be the tester, and then look at every part of your potential business and think, will I need to do this? Can somebody else do that? And it's a huge step forward to actually building that free life. You get rich, you earn while you're not actually doing it, and you live a free life. And that's the biggest win you can have. So if that doesn't make sense, go back to episode 1, listen to them all again, because you can see the mindset we're saying to you is you don't just earn money to spend money, you earn money to earn money. And through that earning money, you can then have more free time to become an architect of a business, to allow people to work for you, to earn you more money without working. See what we're saying? You start becoming the money architect. Everything you do, you look at and think to yourself, how can I earn from this without me being involved? And most people are getting up at 6 a.m, whizzing off to work and coming back and getting paid for their time. But that's not what Get Rich and Live Free is all about. Get rich is living free. You get richer by doing less work. And that is a big jump. Well, thanks for listening to this episode. Hopefully it's got the cogs working. Stop being the bottleneck in your own life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. If you like this podcast or any of the other episodes, your feedback really does help us reach more people and continue bringing you valuable content. And of course, we're going to be seeing you in the next episode of the Get Rich and Live Free, How to Get Rich podcast series. Until next time, we'll see you again. Look after yourselves. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
Waking up your